I'm Jason Lawner, and I'm teaching Yoga for Alignment at 21st Yoga in Salt Lake City, Utah. Today we're going to do a practice that's focusing on elements of grounding techniques that can make you feel more grounded. It's one of these elements where the charge of the world that we are absorbing, if we don't learn how to manage it, how to get rid of it, how to ground it, then it can lead to us feeling anxious and unsettled, nervous, fearful, angry, and sad, all of those kind of human emotions. So yoga practice in general can be a wonderful tool for this, but there are a few ways, a few actions that we can bring into the way we practice that really heighten that sense of feeling grounded, so that it's not trying to get rid of the charge that the world is giving us, it's to be able to handle that charge in a more skillful way. So we will not need any props. You can have blocks, you can have things like this, but take a moment just to sit up really tall. And adjust your seat so that your legs are heavy into the ground. This alignment that this class is titled for, a lot of times we think just of the physical body, but when we make little adjustments in the alignment, taking the thighs back, getting more heavy contact with your femurs against the mat, that physical alignment affects the alignment of our hearts and our minds. It can hold our whole system in a really more beautiful and settled way. So as you close your eyes, as you take a couple deep breaths, feel your breath down in your hips, down in the floor. Letting first there be a surrender to the ground. And keeping that base of yourself heavy, gently start to rise up tall through the spine. So there's lift through the heart. There's a gentle lift through the chin. Bring softness to the eyes. Relaxing your skin as you continue to breathe. And then you're welcome to bring your hands together in front of the heart. And you're very welcome to sing along with me. Singing, especially the tones and these words, can be another way to help us ground that much more deeply. Just taking that moment to let the sound settle through the silence and then to your heart. You can bow. And then take your time to come up to stand to start. And so a little bit of a different way just to get moving. When we feel like too much charge, too much energy, this kind of like pulled up, uprooted feeling will happen. So when you stand, line your feet up so the toes are straight forward. Press your feet down, make your legs really firm as you stand. And even, I'll show you this. So if you take one leg off, because when we tend to hold in, it's literally like you're getting this energy out. So take your leg, just kind of shake it. And the more you shake, the less rhyme or reason to this, the better. It's like you're trying to get any tension out. Make the thigh, the calf, the ankle, the foot, and the toes really shake. And then take that foot, put it back down. Close your eyes and pause and notice what it feels like. Does that foot feel more heavy on the floor? Sometimes the foot will even feel like it's larger. Another way to do this, so on the other leg, try it this way. Same kind of concept, and we're going to work with this throughout a bunch of poses. So lift the leg off the floor, spread the toes, and then suck the leg deep into your hip. Like you're trying to really connect strongly. Keep that pull, that lift, that hug your muscles give the bones of your legs. Keep that, and then re-extend back down, take the foot to the floor. Your breath may even start to change. Close your eyes. Firm legs, reach down through your legs, rise up tall through the spine. And then on a big breath, inhale, reach up and stretch. Pause at the bottom, root down through the legs, see if you can stretch the back side of your waist even taller. On the exhale, arms by your side. Do that one more time. Inhale. And then exhale, even as the arms fall, the chest rises. Last time, inhale, reach up, and then bow forward and touch the floor. And take a couple breaths there to really make the feet heavy, the legs strong against the floor. Keeping the feet grounded, inhale, take the head forward, lengthen. And exhale all the way back down. Again, inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, and fold. Step back, hands and knees, all fours. Just taking a minute to look at your hands, to spread your fingers apart and grip. So when you grip, you make the base heavy, but you also make the arm muscles engage more strongly. Keep that connected, the fingertips down, pull the center of your palms up away from the floor. And the soft breath, neck relaxed, face soft. As you then bend the knees, lift your hips up, go downward dog. See if you can keep that strength, even the steadiness in your hands as you bend your knees and take your seat to the sky. And then feel free to just gently alternate, stretching through the backs of the legs. A nice one to do is even to tip your heels over to the side. A little movement there. And the other way. Ooh, this feels good for me. I was moving yesterday, and yes, my body is feeling it. Take your right leg up on the next inhale. Instead of focusing so much on the lifted leg, anchor down through those strong arms, back through that bottom leg, and then stretch through the lifted leg. You're going to bring it forward into a lunge. Bring your back knee down to the mat, and lunge forward. Take a few breaths, keeping that front foot heavy, the outer edge of that front hip tacking to the floor. You can move a little further forward and back, but continue to keep good downward contact. As you go deeper, you're free to walk your hands forward, maybe try to come down onto the forearms. Step your way back to downward facing dog. And then take the other leg up to the sky. Press down through the arms, stretch top of your thigh back, base of your ankle on that standing leg back as you shine out through your limbs. And then big step forward, come into a lunge. Lower the back knee down as you work forward and down into this lunge. Keeping the inside edge of your front foot anchored as you work deeper. And feel free, you can come down onto the arms. What you're looking for is to add challenge or depth progressively, so that you never make the system react suddenly, that you're supporting, you're cultivating a deeper sense of calm. When the breath slows, you're in a good place. Give it one more inhale, and on the exhale, stretch out through the legs. Back to downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to the top of the push-up. Pause there, claw the floor, press down. Even your feet, make your toes light up, make your feet press into the mat. One more breath. Down as you exhale. Point your toes, lift your chest cobra, keeping the tops of the feet anchored. Maybe a little movement through the spine. And then back to downward dog. Walk your feet to the front of your mat. And fold. Root the legs, lift the chest all the way to stand. Big tall stretch. Keep pressing down as you rise up. Exhale and dive forward. Step back again, downward facing dog. So always go to that moment where you pause and you feel settled. The hands aren't wiggling. You're not fidgeting in the pose unnecessarily. Find that strength. Feel the steadiness the earth provides, and offer your effort back down against it. Inhale, forward plank pose. Exhale, lower. Press your feet down, come up cobra. And then back to downward dog. Take the left leg to the sky. Step forward, lunge. I love it. And then come on up, find your balance. Pause, press your feet down, and settle. The feet have to be heavy, but let your hips a little more relaxed. Whatever strength you need to make sure the legs are steady, the heel is heavy, and then take the arms up. So make it about the way that you can hold firm in the ground as you open. You can keep lifting higher. You can even start to lean and stretch back a little more, but press down and out through your legs as you rise. Good. Hands to the floor. Switch the legs. And then come on up. Heavy, just enough effort that nothing is wobbling. The toes press the heel down, and then the leg through the spine. You're free to look up, but when you do, that will our attention kind of goes where our eyes go. So you have to still have that awareness, that connection to the ground there as you reach, as you lean back and stretch further. Good. Bring the hands to the floor, all the way back, down dog. Big breath in, plank pose. Keep the fingertips heavy, lower down. Up dog, cobra. Downward dog. Right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, open it up, twist, keeping your standing leg reaching back, and then push and fire that top leg over even more. Big step forward, lunge, all the way up. Again, give yourself that time until it's there. feel heavy, to firmly pull the hips in without it hardening your face, without it tightening your breath. This time come down for a twist. So it's going to be left hand to the floor, hips trying to stay nice and level, the back legs lift can help that. Touch the mat, back to downward dog, pause, then move plank pose, chaturanga, cobra, and down dog. Left leg up, and then bend the knee, open the hips, big twist. Keeping the left, or the right hand rather, pushing forward as you step back, and then as you turn, you twist it deeper. Bring that foot forward, lunge. All the way up. Letting the hips settle, the feet root down. The heavier you make the hips, the more length you can rise up with. Bring your hand to the floor, twist, so it's right hand down, left arm up. Head back, nice full breath. Touch the floor, step to the front of your mat, and then fold. Keep the feet heavy. Look for your breath to give you the feedback. How settled, how you're doing today. And then as you send your feet into the floor, lift your chest, stretch all the way tall to stand, and then arms by your side. All right, so then you're going to stand. Your feet can be hip distance. They can be a little closer together as you would like. Bend your knees, move your hips back so you're coming into a squat. So the idea, use your toes to press down, take your knees back so the heels get heavy, trying to get your shins more vertical. From there, belly in, glutes back, and you can see if you can lift your chest a little more. You want to be careful that it doesn't turn into this shape, that you can keep hips back, and then this lift, this length through your waist. So your back is straight the whole time. From there, you can take the arms off the legs. You can take them forward, or most challenging, up over your head. Push your feet into the floor. Make the hips light up even more and keep your breath moving. The deeper you go, the more challenging, but you gotta work that downward effort a little more clearly. Take one more breath, and then fold forward, touch the floor. All right, and then you're going to turn your side, step your feet, so you're now in a big wide stance. Prasarabdha is the yoga pose. Again, line the feet up. Little bend in the knees makes it easier to feel the connection, the weight on the inside edges of the feet. And then fold down, move the inner thighs back. You have options. You can touch the floor, you can grab and add a little compression with your hands against the outer legs. You can hang. And as you tip into this more, make this action that you're pressing the top of the thigh bone into the back side of the leg, lifting the sit bones up to the sky even more. And if you can keep that, walk your hands over towards your right leg. Twist, turn through, keeping your left inner thigh rooting back. And then back through center. Go over to the other side. Then it's that right leg that stays strong, the right foot that has to hold heavy as you twist. Come back to center, thighs back, lift your chest to stand. And then let's do warrior two over to the right side. So turn your foot out 90 degrees, bend until the knee is over the ankle. So that can be there, then you can start moving the position of your back leg. Take a moment here, not only where the feet are, but check where your hips are. See if you can get, and this is tricky, you have these little bumps on the front of your hips, the ASIS. If you can get those level, and then also like both headlights of that turned forward, you may already feel some challenge being brought into the legs. Push down, trying to make the back foot just as heavy as the front foot. And settle where you can, measuring that balance between both feet. And then arms out, warrior two, you can look out over the front fingers. Get one more breath to stretch down through your legs as you rise up. And then lean back, reverse warrior. Keep pushing down through the legs as you energize and stretch the spine. Good, come back to warrior two. Come down to side angle pose. It can be down to elbow, and you open. You can take that bottom hand closer down to the floor, inside, or eventually outside. Turn the top arm out so the palm faces over your head, and a nice active full stretch. Keep reaching the arm over your head, continuing to rotate the arm. So pinky fingers down. It is a big external rotation of your upper arm. And as you push through the legs, reach through the spine, stretch that length through the arm. Good, come back up, warrior two. Pull the front leg straight, drawing the muscles tight to the bone, down for triangle pose. This is where you might want to block. Each pose you get into, make it a process of feel the floor. Like back off, your sensitivity often increases. And then from there, reach down, make the leg bones feel like they're getting longer, open through your chest. Even let the throat lift, the head gently tip back. Good. Root down through the legs to make the spine light to come up. And then you're going to pivot to do this on the left side. So right foot turns in, left foot turns out. You can always take a moment. Like if you feel overworked, make it easy for a second. Let your system settle. Left knee bends to a square, warrior two. And check that little anterior, superior part of your spine, iliac spine, hip bones. And making sure as you line the hips up that way that your left knee didn't dive in, that you're using those lateral thigh muscles to pull the knee out, to tighten, to shorten that lateral side, outer edge of your leg. From there, just settle. Can you stretch through your arms more without tensing up? Make it a softer position of length. And then from there, lean back. Big breath in as you reach to reverse warrior, pushing down through your legs as you stretch. Inhale back. Warrior two. Side angle. You see, I might need to adjust a little bit. Each time I make that adjustment, back to the floor. The bottom hand can stretch lower. And the top arm with the palm facing overhead, stretch that arm. And give more length, more energy to the legs. The back thigh will actually lift instead of flop. This is flopped, disconnected, push down, then peel open. Come back up, warrior two. Pull the front leg straight. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Tip down. Enjoy your breath. Big long stretch through the legs. Good. And then all the way back up, warrior, or to the standing position. Step back to the front of your mat. Give yourself a moment to fold, to settle, standing Tadasana. Root down, reach up, big breath. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen, top of the head forward, top of the thighs back. And bow again. Step back with your right leg. Knee down to the floor. Toes tucked under. That's stability. You can try the opposite. Like you point your foot. It's harder to connect. It's not wrong. There's different ways to do it. But if you tuck under and make it so that your heel can't wobble side to side, use that stability to anchor, and then stable pressing down with the back knee. You come up, and if you hold that firmness of your legs, keep the softness of your breath as you rise up tall. From here, you can keep your hands on the legs and push forward. You can even go hands to your hips a little bit. As you lunge into this, as the knee travels over the toes, see how much length that you can maintain in your spine. On the exhales, let that softness invite you deeper into the pose. On the inhale, connect back to the strength. Connect back to that way that you can direct a more firm, a more heavy foundation to the pose. From there, you have the option of taking the arms up. And from there, you could even start to open back. You gotta get away from this front leg for it to happen. Down in the legs, but big radiant lift through the rest of the spine. Good. Come on down, bring your hands to the floor. You're gonna twist towards the front leg and reach back. So you can grab your back foot. And then from that thigh stretch, turn open. You want to show this lift through the heart as you press your hips down. Bring your back foot with you. And some of you could try to come down low onto the forearm. The hips will shift more to that front leg, so more towards the left as you lean back and open through your chest. Always pause to check in with the breath. If you can't hold there, if you start shaking, see if you can make little adjustments. Maybe you back off on the pose, you come out of the pose a little bit, or just the way, the signal you're sending yourself as you hold the pose to let it be that much more balanced, that much more rooted. Good, let go of the foot. Take the hands to the floor and then back to switch the legs. So you bring your right foot forward and then lowering that back knee down to the mat. Back toes tucked under. Pull that back knee forward so that you end up being right in front of your kneecap of your patella. So if you lift your foot off the ground, that should slide the kneecap back. And you might have to adjust where that back knee is in order to get the hip extension in the back leg and the deep flex in the front leg. We really want to see this part of the body open for a host of reasons, physical but emotional. The way that releasing and lengthening the hip flexors, the quads, can release tension throughout our system. Sit up tall. On the exhale, lunge. On the inhale, rise. And again, you have all these different options for your hands. You even can go back here. On the inhale, inflate the heart, lift through the chest. On the exhale, offer the more weight to the base of the pose. Good. come down, bring your left hand to the floor, twist, and link up with your back foot if you can. If that's too much, you can always just keep it here. Roll open, build twist, and then hips down. Stay rising tall through the chest. You have the option again, you can come down onto the forearm. How much you push down is a practice, it's a game, it's an element that requires you to listen, to pay attention, to notice. If you're overworking, if you're underworking, it'll feel lazy, soft. It can even be dangerous to the soft tissue. There is an optimal amount of effort there. And then back to down dog, release the foot. Feel free, if you want to do a vinyasa, you can have a moment here. To me, it feels really good just to slow things down, to pause, to connect to the floor. Feel the lift that comes to the arm muscles when you press your fingertips down heavier, and then holding that, add some stretch. Take your right leg to the sky. Pause and lengthen. Step forward into a lunge. And then bring your back knee down. We're going to come up. I'll do it so you can see me here. So you're going to take your left hand to the sky. Then you're going to turn, keep the length so you're facing your front leg. And then reach over and bow. And you're trying to get the armpit as much on top of the knee as you can. Let's keep moving so you can see. From there, instead of like folding down, pause. I can even grab, I can push, I can help open and reveal this twist. From here, you can do hands together. And then once I have that, you have all the options. If you want to lift your back knee, this will be a little more, this will keep you more rooted. This is a little more challenge. If you do choose this version, you gotta really strongly lift the back leg and ground the front foot, especially the heel, as you rise up. One or two more big. Even as the air moves out, keep the spine full, the chest lifted. Good. And then back to the floor. Switch your legs. So come up, right arm to the sky. Turn, fold, and then open that twist up. If you can get the armpit on top of the kneecap, you can do the different forms, like this, or even the bind. Have at it, if you like that. But when you're going for creating a feeling, it just seems to work better. Make the pose easy at first. Find those clean, clear actions. You can always make this more challenging. To the floor and back to downward dog. Head forward, top of the push-up, lower to the ground, and then take your arms so they're back alongside your body. Lift your head, lift your shoulders, lift your chest, and you're using, your hands can come up, but you don't want to let the shoulder or the arm bone drop down. Make the shoulders lift. Feel even the back of the arm muscles, the triceps, or your deltoid muscles, as well as the muscles on the back of your neck. If you feel overly tense in one spot, try lowering your chin a little, try turning your head side to side so it's evenly balanced. You can give a little pulse up higher. If you want more challenge, arms can go out or overhead. And then exhale, release back down. And do a little shake out, a little tension release. To lift higher in these shapes, it's very much like the action of how you send that tension, that energy back into your yoga mat. So you can do the same thing. You could interlace your hands behind your back. Or if you can get this, reach back and grab tops of the feet or ankles if you can get that far. Right. And then put some energy into the toes, spread them, flex your feet, lift your legs, then your head and your chest. See, and then once you're here, the more power that you can find in your legs, squeeze together, light up the toes, push back and down, pelvis to the floor, as if you're going to pull the knees to the floor and open up. One more breath, see if you can go a little higher. And then all the way down, rest. Those rest moments are really important. I think a lot of students can miss out on that you come for the exercise, you're going to get the exercise, but the way that we are toning and working our nervous system is really important. All right, back to, let's go hands and knees all fours. Take your right arm and thread it underneath your left arm, keeping your knees really heavy onto the floor, taking your time to roll open. So especially this left knee is important. I see people do this pose, which is a different pose, which is not a twist. So in order to maintain the twist, the outer edge of your left hip has to tack back, and the whole side of your torso has to roll open. For people who like the yoga pose names, think of this as a twisted plow pose variation, where the full pose could be deeply into this twist. Go slow, take your time, keep the points of contact with the floor and make them, they have to be consistent but a little heavier. And from that pushing down, the hips rise, the spine energizes. Good. Untwist. Slow, it takes time. Twists don't like to be forced, and then make your way into the other side when you're ready. So it's going to be left arm under. You're looking for the shins, the thighs, femurs to be vertical. And breathe into the tight spots. I love this pose for the way that you can get some stretch into hard to stretch muscles of your back, like these lower trapezius muscles, even some of the low latissimus dorsi attachments here on the sides. Hard to stretch. So take some time to put some length to get some blood flow and to open all this soft tissue up. And then back to center. Gentle movements just to see how you're feeling. From there, let's do right leg first. So take your right knee forward, pigeon pose. I'm going to turn and face you. The point, sometimes you see people just crank the foot all the way up, which can maybe not be so great on the knee. Instead, to help the alignment of the knee, help to create space and openness in the hips, have your knee much wider than your hip. The foot may be a lot closer to your groins though. Back toes tucked under, pull the legs together and start to rise up. Again, here you might need blocks If you're coming up really high, you can stay down and touch the floor, or you can really pull the legs together so the pelvic floor lifts up, literally from the heaviness of the knees, the connecting inward, you get this lift and this rise. You have the option of arms up, but you can even lean back and hook the back of the head. But this rise through the spine comes from that heavy connection to the floor. Still feel your breath in your hips. Good. And then from there, fold forward. You have all these options. Elbows can come down. You can make some fists and rest your forehead on this. You can take the arms all the way out. And feel free to move around gently. Less about fidgeting, more to explore if there are parts of the pose that feel tight, that need a little bit of work. So the hips, as long as they're level and they're squared forward, you're good. Breathe. And send your breath into the parts of the body that feel tense or tight or blocked or stuck. Good. And then keeping your left forearm down on the floor, twist to the right. Your free arm can reach up, or I really like to grab the hip and give it a little extra reminder of weight, of how to send that energy back down, and then unfold your heart even more to the sky. Good. Hands to the mat. Back to downward dog. And then slide your left knee forward, second side, pigeon pose. Take your time to get things set up. So the position, like taking care of the body, but taking care of the energy. The way the pose can feel by the speed and the attention you bring to it. Pull the knees together, see if you can rise up tall. I don't want to overwork, so I'm like shaking. That's where, make it easier. Some days you need blocks, some days you don't want to work so hard that may not support you. You've had a rough week, you've had a stressful day, whatever's going on in your world. Where you pull in, you find the tone to the system that makes you relax. From there you can rise. From there you can add length and depth of your choosing. You can hook the hands to the back of the head. Curl back and open like a geyser rising out of that steady base. One more big breath. Good, and then fold forward, touch the floor. You can slide yourself deeper. Hips level. You could even move around as you find those little sticky spots. This is one where, are your hands tense? Can you make them a cleaner connection with that heaviness on the floor? You don't need tension there. You want to transfer that energy back down. And we literally charge that energy up. It's why you can walk into a yoga studio with a big group of people and feel it. You can feel this change. It's why it may be time in the mountains, it may be being near the ocean and nature that sends a deeply calming signal to yourself. So you find those spaces, those times to disconnect, to help yourself. But we really have this power in our bodies. We can do this on our mats. Come on up, so you're going to keep your right forearm down, twist to the left. Instead of getting so pulled out, heavy. Feel the breath Then rise and coil further. Your hand can press the hips down, can just inform more radiant, more full posture. One more nice big breath. And then hands to the floor. Downward dog. Walk to the front of your mat. And fold. Keeping your heels heavy, your toes connected. See if you can tip your hips forward, making the legs more straight. You'll start to grip with the toes, so find the sweet spot where you make it a little more challenging, but you can still find the settling. You can still give that direction to the stretch back, down through the legs, turning the seat towards the sky. And then bend your knees deep. So you're going to see if you can squat. Those of you that can squat down, you can choose to do it this way. But there's a really important piece. If your ankles, a lot of times it's the ankles. Might not be just the ankles. But if you can do this, you rock your knees forward, you come up on the balls of the feet, you got to push down more. Sit onto the heels like this. And then you play with where do you put your hands to get some bend into the ankle. So even if you can sit up really easily, you may find some good stretch in the back of that ankle, Achilles tendon, deep calf muscle, your soleus muscle. You pull your knees in. If you are down, it can be nice to hook your arms on top of your knees and push down, sit up tall, trying to really get the hips heavy and the shins eventually more vertical. It's tricky. All right, come all the way down to sit. Stretch your legs forward. So here's where, if it's hard to sit up tall, if you can't get your sacrum vertical, a blanket, a little rolled up towel, bolsters, any kind of little prop that gives you lift. You might even use a yoga block if it's substantial enough. But give yourself that little prop up. So I'm going to sit. I'm going to use just like the edge of the blanket. Stick it under my butt. So it's helping pull the flesh back. And then even just pause. Put some energy in the toes. Press your legs down. By contrast, if you did the opposite, like make your legs soft, lazy. Your spine probably feels that it'll kind of sag and compress more. Versus like, we want to relax and unwind. Sometimes this is what I want to do. It's like, I want to go lay on the couch. I don't want to do anything to support the way I feel, but it's those really careful ways we listen and you put a little work in the toes, you press down. It feels really good. And it definitely takes a little bit of work. All right, bend your right knee in. Step the foot over across the leg. And then also check if you can create that same action. A little spread in the toes, push down so you sit up tall. If you can, you could do the full thing, the Ardha Matsyendrasana, where you pull in. Ideally, it's good to have this right foot, inside edge of the foot, sealed to the floor. You make the pose more challenging if you pull the foot back. But then again, not like, if you're like cranked in like this, may not serve you the best. So again, find push down, sit up tall. The props are there to make you learn what's going on in your body when you use them carefully. And then you're going to twist towards that top leg, so to the right. Your variations, you can pull the knee in, gives a nice little stretch to the outer hip, and all these muscles that tend to get tight on the external part of your hip, lateral hip. Or you can do what's often more commonly seen, where you hook the arm and you can pull back a little bit. Kind of like this. Use your free hand on the ground behind you to remind your spine of that length. Use your breath to find more fullness, more spaciousness through the chest, through the throat, as level as you can be through the collarbones, with just a gentle leaning back idea. So heart rises, head and throat shift more into the backside. Enjoy your breath. On the inhales, rising tall by the way you press down into the mat. On the exhales, you can twist deeper. Soften your eyes. On the inhale, back to center, and then switch. And I recommend going through that same process because you pattern this into yourself. Like if you take the time, you bend your left leg, you get set, you step it over, you go to the point of the pose that's optimal for you today. And it can be different on side to side. It's a little tighter today. Those moving boxes, kind of heavy. And then when you're ready, twist towards the top leg. Using the hand on the ground behind you to sit up tall. Root down through your legs. And do you feel the flow of energy that rises from the base of your pelvis through the crown of your head? Rotate, coil onto that axis of your spine. And then on the inhale, back to center. Take your feet out, bring your soles of your feet together. Readjust as needed. And then you push the feet down, let the knees even lift. So instead of the knees to the floor being the goal, think about, can you get the inside part of your thigh down to the floor more? A nice way is touch the mat, push so that you can roll in. Keep length through your belly if you're choosing to go this route and folding forward. But thighs down first and a wider base, sit bones literally widening, is what eventually helps the knees pull down. You can work in pulses where you push the hips down, the feet down, and then you back off a little. You do it again, and you just figure out where you need to work today. And that being said, it's not just be easy on yourself. Sometimes you want to work hard. Some days it's necessary. But learning how to gauge that, how to find that space, takes a lot of practice. At least took me and takes me a lot of effort to find. And then walk yourself back upright, and then you're going to lay on your back. So get set, just down on the ground. Bring your knees into your chest. Give your legs a little rock. Do where it feels comfortable. Knees wider, you can pull them towards your armpits. Knees together. Feel free little massaging movements. And then feet to the floor. Go a little wider, about feet as wide as your yoga mat. Take your knees to one side. Stretching through the leg that's inside of the knee is touching to the floor. And then come back up, go the other way. Lengthening, grounding out through the kneecap. One more each side, just kind of as it feels good. And then to center, you're just going to slide your legs out. So you're using that kind of wider stance for your legs. Do the same in your arms. Take your arms apart. Organize everything. So the neck is balanced. The head's not tipped to one side. Shoulders are heavy and there's still a little bit of lift through the heart as you rest here. And with the eyes closed, allow yourself some time to really settle. And bathe in the great work you did. Allowing your body to settle into the floor. To be still, to be soft. Begin to deepen your breath. Taking your time to move, to stretch. You're in no rush. Making your way slowly back to a comfortable seated position when you're ready. in the same way we start, take the thighs back, feel anchored in the hips, spacious through the upper body. And at the end of an exhale, fold the hands together in front of your heart, undulate. And this offering of your heart that you make before your heart, let it be that reminder to yourself that you have this very deeply connected, settled being that's always there. And the yoga practices are just teachings and tools that we can use to bring out the best that we have. An acknowledgement of your great heart, of a hopefully clearer and more peaceful mind. And grateful for the opportunity to access these things. Make that offering back out to the upliftment of all. A deep breath in, and you can bow. Namaste. Thanks for tuning in. It was good to be here with you. You can leave comments, I'll respond to them. Tell your friends that 21st Yoga, Salt Lake City, we are going to be posting a bunch of videos by the variety of awesome teachers that we have on staff here. There's a link to donate in the description for this video. Please donate if you can. And yeah, more online videos are coming. You can follow us, Facebook at 21st Yoga Utah, Instagram 21st Yoga. You can find me on those at Jason Lawner. Have a wonderful